Just 6 days before the wedding, my boyfriend of 3 years called me. Me, darling, do you miss me again? Boyfriend, Ella, let's break up. I couldn't believe my ears and asked again, what did you say? He repeated it again, his voice cold and his tone firm, without a trace of attachment. I said let's break up. Don't forget to cancel the wedding, okay? I retorted, why should I cancel it? My boyfriend was stunned for a moment. I've already broken up with you, who are you going to marry? Ella, there's only 6 days left until you step into the marriage hall, you must be looking forward to it, right? In the video, my best friend Nina said with a face full of envy. Hee, it's okay. A happy smile overflowed on my face. After hanging up the video, I was selecting things needed for the wedding on Amazon. The phone rang with that unique ringtone. Darling, do you miss me again? I said coquettishly to the phone, feeling incredibly sweet in my heart, like a cute little princess. The other end of the phone was silent. After about 5 seconds, I slowly heard that familiar voice, Ella, let's break up. I was struck by lightning, and all the sweetness in my heart was instantly swept away. In disbelief, I asked again, Eric, what did you say? Ella, let's break up. Eric repeated it again, his voice cold, his tone firm, without a trace of attachment. Hearing him say those 2 words one by one, my heart was completely shattered. There are only 6 days left until the wedding, and he actually proposed to break up. Did I do something wrong? My mind was like a movie, constantly flashing back to the bits and pieces of our time together. We had been in love for 3 years. We were about to achieve our goal, but my tears uncontrollably flowed down my cheeks. I still mustered up the courage to ask the doubt in my heart, what's the reason? My white moonlight has returned from abroad, and I want to marry her. I'm sorry, Ella. I gave a bitter smile. Hearing Eric's explanation, I felt like I had become a joke. 3 years of being together day and night, my silent dedication still couldn't warm his heart, and it couldn't compare to the white moonlight in his heart. I didn't want to have any more entanglements with him, so I replied indifferently, okay. Just as I was about to hang up the phone, he hurriedly said, Ella, isn't there still 6 days until the wedding? Then please have your dad cancel the wedding. Why should I cancel it? I retorted. Hearing this, Eric was stunned. I've already broken up with you, who are you going to marry? It's none of your business. After saying that, I heavily pressed the hang-up button. My best friend Nina came to my house. Ella, if there's anything you need help with, just say it. I'll take a day off tomorrow and serve you wholeheartedly. Hearing Nina's considerate words, the princess heart hidden under my strong exterior completely surrendered. The grievances suppressed in my heart poured out like a flood. Which bastard bullied my Ella? I'll stand up for you. Seeing me cry like a tearful person, Nina hugged me distressedly. I choked up and told Nina the whole story. My mood improved a lot immediately. Indeed, confiding can alleviate anxiety and pain. After hearing this, Nina was furious and cursed angrily, Eric is really a beast. For 3 years, you have done so much for him. Even the cost of the wedding was paid by your family. His family has no money, and you bought him a car and a house. He is lucky to marry a good wife like you. It's like his ancestors' graves are smoking. Yet he still wants to break up with you. The more Nina spoke, the angrier she became, her chest heaving violently. Thinking back on the 3 years of dedication, I can only blame myself for being blind and raising an ungrateful wolf. Ella, what about the wedding? Nina took 3 deep breaths to calm her emotions. In 6 days, the wedding will proceed as planned. You must not act recklessly. Marriage is a major event in a girl's life and should not be taken lightly. Nina was a bit confused. Okay, Nina, trust me, I won't act recklessly. The next day, I got up, washed up, had breakfast, and went to work. As usual, I arrived at the company on time before 8 o'clock. Ella, don't forget the company dinner tonight. I nodded lightly and made an okay gesture. Looking at the rapidly scrolling text on the computer screen, it was just like my fluctuating mood. I am a female author at an online literature company with a decent income. There are only 5 days left until the wedding starts. If I don't find the right person, my wedding will become a huge joke. Sigh, it's all because I care too much about face. At 6 p.m., at the Star Hotel. The company executives were already seated, and the ordinary employees found their seats individually. I quietly listened to the leader's speech, all kinds of clichés and formal words. It gave me a headache, so I excused myself to go to the restroom and left the private room. Just as I was about to call Nina, a man suddenly pulled me into a room. He covered my mouth, his eyes a bit dazed. "Help me, I've been drugged, or I'll die." The man was tall and burly, his strong arms tightly embracing my neck, making it impossible for me to resist. He had a handsome and angular face, a high-nose bridge, and deep eyes. Anyway, I've already broken up with that bastard, so whatever I do is my freedom, humph. I'll go all out. When I woke up in the morning, the man's drug effect had worn off. He neatly tidied his clothes. When he saw the red stain on the white bedsheet, he was stunned for a moment, then came back to his senses. He walked up to me and gently stroked my hair. "Thank you for helping me yesterday. In the future, if you need anything from me, I will definitely help you." He picked up my phone and skillfully dialed a number. He handed the phone to me, his gaze scanning my body and suddenly fixing on a certain spot. Then, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and he left with big strides. Watching his departing figure, my heart was filled with mixed feelings. I gave my first time to a strange man whose name I didn't even know. I even despised myself a little. Is this the agent? I want to sell my house. Please provide your household registration book, ID, and property certificate. I provided the relevant documents. 1 minute later. Your house sale information has been approved. Please move out of the house within 3 days, and we will bring buyers to visit at that time. Okay. I bought the house with full payment. Eric didn't contribute a single cent, and now he's still living in my house. This house was originally intended to be our wedding house, but with his fuss, my mood is completely gone. I'll sell it directly, out of sight, out of mind. I opened my phone's call log and found Eric's name. "Eric, I've sold my house, you need to move out immediately." Eric on the other end of the phone was very annoyed. "Ella, the property certificate has both our names on it. On what grounds are you kicking me out?" Hearing Eric's words, I really wanted to laugh. "Eric, you're a college student after all, how come you don't even know the most basic legal knowledge? Go check the civil code yourself, I have no obligation to teach you," I said resolutely and coldly. When I got home, I saw my dad sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper. "Ella, how are the wedding preparations going?" Dad's face was full of smiles as he put down the newspaper and looked up at me. "Dad, it's going well, you don't need to worry. I can handle everything. I don't want my parents to worry about my affairs, they are already in their 60s and should enjoy their peaceful life." At this moment, Mom also came out of the kitchen. "Ella, when you have time, bring Eric home for a meal, we can chat with our future son-in-law." As soon as Eric was mentioned, I couldn't help but feel a bit irritated. "Mom, we're preparing for the wedding, we're very busy." Mom heard the displeasure in my emotions and quickly coaxed me. Okay, Mom will listen to you and not disturb you, hee." My parents had met Eric before and had a good impression of him. They have always been very supportive of our relationship. They believe that coming from a humble background is not a shame, being able to endure hardship and adapt is what makes a man. Back in my bedroom, I played a game. Just as I was about to sleep, my phone rang. I picked it up and saw it was him, that handsome guy. "Hello, I want to meet you." His tone was gentle. "No need, let's just pretend nothing happened. I have principles, I want to apologize to you in person and agree to any request you have." Hearing him say that, I hesitated a little. My wedding is imminent, if I really can't find anyone, why not ask him for help? Besides, his looks and figure are top-notch. Really? Ethan, never break my word. This Ethan is quite principled, I might as well meet him. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Time Coffee House. Okay, see you there. I chose the Time Coffee House because it's right downstairs from my home. I arrived early and sat at a window seat. 5 minutes later, the dashing man walked towards me. He was wearing a suit, looking very businesslike. Those who didn't know might think he was some company's CEO. He politely sat opposite me. Sorry for making a girl wait for me. I nodded to him. It's okay, I live nearby. He seemed to be in a good mood today, exuding a youthful and spirited vibe. My name is Ethan, nice to meet you. My name is Ella. Last night, I was drugged by a business rival, so I offended you. For that, I didn't want him to continue, so I quickly interrupted him. Okay, I understand. He understood my intention and continued, Miss Ella, if you have any requests, feel free to ask. My eyes flickered. At a time when I was worried about the wedding, such an opportunity arose. Why not give it a try? Mainly because Ethan is better than Eric in every way, and I won't lose anything anyway. You will agree to any request I have? I confirmed again. Ethan hesitated for a moment, then smiled faintly. As long as it doesn't violate public order and good morals and is within the legal limits, anything is fine, hee. Hearing him say that, I gasped, I am a good person, I never do anything illegal. Just kidding, don't mind me. My request might be a bit presumptuous, and it's not forced. In 4 days, it's my wedding, and I would like to ask you to be my groom. Ethan's expression instantly changed from gentle to serious. He seemed to be brainstorming, lost in thought for a moment. After 1 minute. I agree. My eyes lit up, I could hardly believe it. Afraid that he might change his mind, I quickly said, a gentleman's word, and he smiled slightly on his handsome face, very cooperatively saying, is as binding as a team of 4 horses. We exchanged Facebook contacts. He added, but I knew he wouldn't help me so easily, sure enough. But, I want to get a marriage certificate with you first. I was instantly stunned, my face full of surprise. I just asked him to pretend to be the groom, but he wants to make it real. Does he like me? Such a handsome guy, anyway, I won't lose out, getting a certificate is fine, who's afraid? Okay. I said hesitantly. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'll pick you up, and we'll go get the certificate. The next day, with 3 days left until the wedding. We arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Looking at the solemn hall with pairs of couples waiting in line, I sighed, my marriage is so casual. Unbelievable. With the stamp duong being pressed, my complicated emotions also settled, and I stopped overthinking. Walking out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, standing at the door, I took a picture of the 2 marriage certificates with my phone, feeling a bit proud. Ethan glanced at me affectionately, Ella, does this count as a flash marriage? We've known each other for less than 3 days. We looked at each other and smiled, as if we had each completed a mission, feeling relieved. With 2 days left until the wedding, the real estate agent called. Miss Ella, your house has an interested client who wants to see it today. Is it convenient for you? I was extremely excited and quickly said, convenient, you can see it any time. We arranged a time and the 3 of us went to the wedding house. As soon as I opened the door, I was speechless. Eric was still living in my house, shirtless, wearing only big shorts, playing games in the living room. Worried that it might affect the sale of the house, I quickly appeased the agent and the prospective buyer. Please wait a moment, I'll handle some personal matters. I pointed at this former lover, now enemy, Eric, you really have thick skin. I notified you in advance to move out, yet you shamelessly stay in my house. When Eric saw us come in, he looked dejected and said impatiently, move out. Hee, my name is on the property certificate, on what grounds are you making me leave? Looking at Eric's shameless expression, I wished I could slap him to death. But then I thought, we live in a society ruled by law, hitting people casually is wrong, so I held back. I took out the proof of full payment for the house and the civil code from my bag. Finding the relevant clause, I said confidently, premarital property, regardless of whether the other party's name is added later, belongs to the person who paid for it in full. Eric always thought that since I added his name, half of the house belonged to him. Now, like a stray dog, he was instantly flustered and hurriedly looked at the black and white words in the civil code. After a moment, he knelt on the ground. "Ella, I know I was wrong." Eric cried like a tearful person, with snot and tears. Those who didn't know might really think he was the victim. The more he acted like this, the more disgusted I felt. How did I fall for such a snobbish villain back then? A man who doesn't work hard to earn money to support his family but always thinks about living off a woman. "You're not wrong, I'm the one who's wrong. I should transfer the house to you for free," I said sarcastically, but he got excited. "Ella, I just want to be with you, the house doesn't matter." I was truly shocked by his shamelessness. "Weren't you going to marry your white moonlight?" Eric's eyes kept darting around, not knowing what he was plotting. "Ella, I've thought about it for a long time. The person I love most in my heart is still you." I couldn't take it anymore and covered my ears, shouting, "Get lost. Leave immediately, or I'll call the police." As I said that, I took out my phone and started dialing. Seeing this, he immediately softened. "Okay, I'll leave right now." Seeing him get up to pack his luggage, I turned to the agent. "Sorry for the scene. Both of you are experienced and could see what was going on at a glance, but you didn't comment rashly." The agent took the client to carefully inspect every room. In the end, the client was very satisfied. Before leaving, he held my hand and said earnestly, "Girl, well done, you should use the weapon of law to punish these scumbags." I felt warmth in my heart and thanked the client. We waved goodbye. Eric also packed his things, dragging 3 suitcases, and glared at me viciously. "Ella, I heard you're still preparing for the wedding. Don't beg me to marry you then." I really don't know where Eric gets his confidence from. I laughed out loud. "Hee hee, don't bother yourself. Ella, you will definitely regret it." Eric coldly threw down a sentence and stormed out. Watching him stagger away with his suitcases, looking embarrassed, it was damn satisfying. Just as I got back to the door and was about to go upstairs, Ethan came towards me in casual clothes. He was wearing sunglasses, looking suave, like the male lead from an idol drama. "Ella, let's go see our wedding house." He smiled, looking handsome and irresistible. I pretended to be reserved. "No need." He gently took my hand and said softly, "We've already got the certificate, we're legally married now. It's not too much to see the wedding house." I was speechless. "We've got the marriage certificate, why be afraid of seeing the wedding house? Take this opportunity to learn more about this so-called lover." I sat in his passenger seat, and we drove towards the most prosperous area of the city. He parked the car at the Moonlight Villa complex. I couldn't believe my eyes. This is the most luxurious villa complex in the city. He led me straight to a villa. Coming here, I realized how short-sighted I was. I thought my quality of life was already very superior, but seeing the scene before me, it was truly incomparable. "Ella, are you satisfied with this place?" Ethan sat on the sofa and said casually. The gorgeous crystal chandelier, bronze artworks, marble dining table, valuable paintings, I was dazzled. My tongue seemed tied, and I stammered, satisfied. "From now on, this will be our wedding house." He handed me a set of keys and placed them in my palm. He was so sincere, but I felt it was very unreal. What is his purpose? Why is he so good to me, a woman he has only known for a few days? Many questions made me think. After thinking for a full 3 minutes, I didn't want to drain myself anymore. The most important thing now is to hold this wedding well. "Ella, don't be restrained, just treat this place as your own home. Be as you are at home." He smiled, like a brother coaxing his sister to be happy, making people let down all their guards and feel very at ease. Since he said so, I didn't hold back anymore. "Ethan, I'm hungry, make me something delicious," I said to him a bit playfully. Who knew? Ethan was very cooperative and suddenly said, "Your servant obeys." I was amused by him, laughing heartily. Such a handsome guy suddenly doing this was really surprising. Seeing me laugh so happily, he also showed a charming smile. Under the light, his features became more distinct, his entire face looked three-dimensional, and his jawline was clearly visible. I lost my balance and fell. Ethan quickly stepped forward and caught me by the waist. Suddenly, our eyes met, and he stared intently at my face, his gaze unconsciously moving downward. I tried to get down from his arms, but no matter how hard I tried, it was in vain. He carried me to the bedroom and gently placed me on the Simmons bed. His lips slowly approached mine. My heart was extremely conflicted. I used my hand to block his advance. "Ethan, I want to give myself to you on the wedding day." His gentle eyes were full of indulgence. He slowly moved away from me. "Ella, I'll listen to you." Bored, I opened Facebook. Suddenly, a message popped up. "Eric, Ella, I miss you so much." Me, get lost. "Ella, can we start over?" Are you kidding? I really know I was wrong, I'm a beast. Please forgive me. I don't want to affect your romance with your white moonlight. Bye. After saying that, I directly blocked Eric and turned the page. Just as I was about to put down my phone, Nina called. "Ella, I have good news for you." "Tell me quickly." Eric was dumped by his white moonlight, now he's like a rat crossing the street, everyone shouts to beat him. Satisfying, hee I said he suddenly fawned on me earlier, turns out he was at the end of his rope. I heard Eric's white moonlight is called Debbie. Debbie's foreign boyfriend David pursued her again, and she happily kicked Eric away. She bought a ticket to go abroad that day and is said to be holding a wedding soon. Hearing this news, I suddenly felt my back didn't ache, my legs didn't hurt, and I could climb 5 floors in one breath without any effort. Thank you, Nina, for bringing me such good news, it really makes me feel refreshed. Nina also smiled and said, "By the way, Ella, have you found a marriage partner? There are only 2 days left until your wedding. Uncle and aunt attach great importance to your wedding. If there's no groom, they would be so angry that it would affect their health." I smiled slightly. "Don't worry, I've already found one, hee. Oh, which family's young master makes our Ella so happy? I've only known him for a few days and haven't learned much about him yet. You're about to get married, shouldn't you speed up understanding each other? Anyway, we've already got the certificate, we can slowly get to know each other later." What? You've already got the certificate? Just got it yesterday. Ella, you're a tough one. The day after tomorrow, I must take a good look at who this person is that makes my best friend so devoted. I had a beautiful sleep in the villa and was in a great mood. Looking at the handsome man beside me, I couldn't bear to wake him up. Just looking at him quietly could satisfy all my imaginations. It was too wonderful. To prevent my parents from being too excited at tomorrow's wedding, I should arrange it in advance. "Ethan, come home with me to meet my parents." He rubbed his sleepy eyes, hugged my neck, kissed my forehead, and said softly, "Okay, I've wanted to meet my father-in-law and mother-in-law for a long time." Hearing him agree so readily, I was very pleased. Ethan is quite reasonable, and his family upbringing is good. "Then let's go now, the earlier the better." He gently pulled my arm. "You rest a bit more, I'll go out to buy some things. After all, it's the first meeting, and I need to leave a good impression. This Ethan is a decent person, he handles things meticulously." Half an hour later, Ethan came back with many bags. I took a closer look and was stunned. 2 bottles of Mao Tai, 2 cartons of Zhonghua cigarettes, high-end Longjing and Dahongpo tea, bird's nest, Lingji spore powder, and so on. "Ethan, you're too polite." He politely shook his head and smiled at me. "Ella, you don't understand, the first impression is very important, especially since these are for my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Keeping the goodies within the family, hee. Besides, these are just some insignificant things, I hope they won't mind." My eyes widened even more. "You call these insignificant things?" Although I said that, my heart was as sweet as honey. Then, I called my mom. Mom, I'm bringing my boyfriend home for lunch. Okay, I'll prepare some delicious food for you, drive slowly. Okay, Mom, I know. Mom was nagging as usual, but from her tone, I could tell she was really happy. I sat in the passenger seat, admiring the beautiful crabapple flowers by the roadside, feeling very happy. Ella, I still don't know what you do. We've got the marriage certificate, but we don't even know each other's basic information. Both of us are really carefree. I am an online literature writer, what about you? I asked back. I am a real estate sales supervisor working at Ching Group. Ethan said a bit shyly, but his eyes were observing my emotional changes. Chung Group is the largest real estate company in the country. I told the truth. He smiled brightly, his expression exaggerated like a child. It's okay, just so. Hee, I was praising Chung Group. Why are you being modest? I gave him a big eye roll and directly teased him, not giving him any face. He seemed to realize and immediately restrained his exaggerated smile. After all, I work at Chung Group, hearing you say that makes me look good too. 15 minutes later, the car arrived at my home. As soon as we entered, I saw my parents busy. Mom and Dad, we're back. My parents quickly came over. The moment they saw Ethan, their facial muscles froze instantly. I quickly introduced, Mom and Dad, let me introduce you, this is my boyfriend, Ethan. My parents' faces changed several colors in an instant but finally returned to normal. Ethan also greeted very politely, hello, uncle and aunt. Ethan, come in and sit down. Mom warmly invited him. Today, knowing you were coming, your mom and I specially made lamb dumplings. Dad said proudly, knowing that I love this dish. Dad and Ethan were chatting in the living room, while Mom and I were making dumplings in the kitchen. Ella, the wedding is tomorrow, and you're changing the groom today? Mom looked serious and said in a reproachful tone. Mom, I broke up with Eric a long time ago, it was he who proposed it. I told her everything about me, Eric, and Ethan. Hearing this, Mom no longer blamed me. Fortunately, you didn't marry Eric, this is a great thing. Mom held my hand, trying to comfort me. Me, isn't it? We stopped the loss in time, seeing the tear sliding down Mom's eye corner, I knew she felt my 3 years of dedication were not worth it. Mom, tomorrow you just happily attend our wedding and forget all the unpleasantness, okay? Okay, my good daughter. Mom hugged me, her face full of love. The family happily had a heartwarming meal. When leaving, my parents gave me a thumbs up behind Ethan's back and whispered, this child is good, we all like him. Getting my parents' approval, I was overjoyed and showed a big smile. Then, we went to the wedding dress shop. When I put on the white wedding dress and stood in front of Ethan, his eyes seemed to be fixed. Ella, you are so beautiful. I blushed at his words. I felt my face burning, as if it could fry an egg. He looked down at me affectionately, gently lifting my chin with his hand. Ella, you are the most beautiful bride in the world. Smooth talker. Ethan, swear to heaven, if I'm lying. I quickly covered his thin lips with my hand, signaling him not to say more. I don't know what stimulated him. He pushed my hand away and kissed me deeply, rubbing against my lips as if to occupy every space in my mouth. I was a bit breathless and pushed him away. Ethan, let's quickly choose the clothes. In the villa. Ella, according to custom, we can't sleep together tonight, I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. Ethan kissed me and said gently. After Ethan left, I specially called my best friend Nina over. Ella, congratulations, you finally found your Mr. Right. Nina smiled brightly, sincerely blessing her good sister for finding happiness. Nina, your happiness will come soon too. Nina said coquettishly, tomorrow, I must be your bridesmaid, no one can take that away, me, that's a must, I had a good night's sleep. At 4 a.m., the makeup artist arrived at the villa. By 6 a.m., Ethan's wedding procession came. Seeing Ethan's handsome and sunny face, that feeling of happiness swept through every cell of my body. The entire star hotel had been booked. Relatives and friends were already seated. It's you who made me see a flower blooming in the dry desert. It's you who makes me want to write a love song for you every day. The beautiful melody brought me into the best time of my life. For a girl, what could be more exciting than wearing a beautiful wedding dress? The MC's clear voice pulled me back from my thoughts. Thank you all for coming to the wedding of the bride, Ella, and the groom, Ethan, despite your busy schedules. Now, please welcome the groom to speak. Ethan took the microphone and said affectionately, "At this moment, I am happy because I will spend the rest of my life with Ella. Can everyone bless us?" No. A harsh voice came from the audience, and the wedding scene instantly became extremely quiet. You could hear a pin drop. After a moment, people's discussions could be heard. Who is this, coming to disrupt someone's wedding? I've seen this person, isn't this Ella's ex-boyfriend? I heard that this wedding was originally for the two of them, but for some reason, the groom was changed midway. Now there's gossip, I'm looking forward to it. As Eric's voice sounded, everyone stopped discussing. This wedding was originally held by Ella for me. What right do you have to ask me to bless you? We were in love for 3 years, how long have you known each other? Ella, I still love you, let Ethan get lost, and let's get married, okay? Hearing Eric's words, I felt nauseous. How can a person be so despicable? Nina's face turned red with anger and couldn't hold back. Eric, are you still a man? For the white moonlight in your heart, just 6 days before the wedding, you heartlessly proposed to break up with Ella. However, evil deeds will bring self-destruction. Your white moonlight abandoned you heartlessly for her foreign boyfriend, and now that you have nothing, you come back to pursue Ella. Your actions make me sick. As soon as Nina finished speaking, the audience erupted. People were discussing noisily. Damn, Eric is really too scummy, it's outrageous. Fortunately, Ella didn't marry him, otherwise, her latter half of life would have been ruined. A complete scumbag, such a man should be castrated to prevent him from harming good women again. Eric's true colors were exposed by Nina, and he was in a bad state, trying to explain. Nina, don't talk nonsense, I have always loved Ella. Eric was a bit flustered and, in his confusion, grabbed Ella's mom nearby. Aunt, during the 3 years I was in love with Ella, my heart for her was true, please testify for me. Ella's mom shook off Eric and said angrily, Eric, you are really an ungrateful wolf. Your income was low, and my Ella subsidized you. When your mom was sick, Ella took leave to take care of her. Even for building a house in your hometown, Ella contributed $300,000. Has your conscience been eaten by dogs? The more Ella's mom spoke, the angrier she became, clutching her chest and gasping for breath. Ella's dad quickly supported her to prevent her from falling. Pointing at Eric, he cursed, Eric, get lost immediately, you don't deserve to be at Ella's wedding. At this point, Eric was completely shameless, saying thick-skinnedly, the money for building the house in my hometown was voluntarily given by Ella, do I have to pay it back? Hee hee. Eric had a cynical look, a complete rogue. The audience was in an uproar. When a person is shameless, they are invincible. My patience had reached its limit, and I took the microphone. Eric, can you have some shame? When you humbly asked me to borrow money, you didn't say that. Don't forget, I still have the IOU you wrote to me. Hearing me mention the IOU, Eric couldn't sit still. Ella, I was joking, give me some time, and I'll definitely pay you back. I said coldly, within 3 days, transfer $300,000 to my account, otherwise, wait for the court's summon. Eric collapsed to the ground, cold sweat instantly dripping from his face. Ella, I don't have a job now, not even a place to live, please give me some time, okay? While crying and pleading, Eric rushed towards me. Just as he reached me, Ethan punched him, knocking him down. Eric fell heavily to the ground, blood spurting from his mouth, like a bewitching blood lotus blooming. Eric, today is my and Ella's wedding day, how dare you come here to make trouble? Ethan's face was full of anger, I had never seen him so domineering before. I tightly held his arm. Ethan looked at me gently, Ella, don't be afraid, with me here, I want this beast to see how happy we are. I happily leaned into his arms, with a sweet face. I signaled the MC to continue the wedding. The MC returned to the center of the stage. Please continue, groom. Ethan adjusted his clothes and said solemnly, when I first saw Ella, I knew she was the love of my life. The MC took over from Ethan. Now, please present Mr. Cheng's betrothal gifts, $1 billion in cash, a Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost worth $1.5 billion, and a villa worth $300 million. Before he finished speaking, everyone was stunned. My heart skipped a beat, and I stared at my lover in front of me. Ethan seemed to know what I was thinking, and explained, Ella, I want to give you a surprise at the wedding, don't blame me, okay? Actually, since we entered Moonlight Villa, I should have realized. His true identity is Ethan, the president of Cheng Group. Thunderous applause immediately erupted from the audience. Wow, this is the wealthy and handsome prince of the Beijing Circle. The Feng family is going to prosper now, soaring to the sky. Later, I want to take a photo with Ethan, I can show off later. Ethan is too low-key, if he didn't never attend media events, he would have set the venue on fire long ago. At this moment, Eric's throat seemed to be stuffed with cotton, unable to say a word. His sallow face became paler and paler, and he stood there like a statue, motionless. Everyone, look, the ex-boyfriend peed his pants. A sharp voice came from somewhere. Everyone looked and saw that Eric's crotch was wet. Security, throw this person out quickly. Cleaners, clean up immediately. Ethan shouted domineeringly. After the staff cleaned up the trash, the wedding scene restored its festive atmosphere. Our wedding went very smoothly. Everyone was very happy, except for one person. After the wedding, Ethan took me to the seaside. The sea breeze blew through his hair, adding a touch of youthfulness, very charming. Ethan gently hugged my waist, and I snuggled in his warm embrace. Ethan, we got married after knowing each other for only 5 days, it feels like a dream. I was full of shyness, the man in front of me was like a flower in the mirror, a moon in the water, so illusory. Are you sure we've only known each other for 5 days? Ethan said unexpectedly. I broke free from his embrace and looked at him with burning eyes. Isn't it? He smiled faintly and put his hands in his pockets, think again carefully. I thought hard but then shook my head. My head was about to burst, but I really couldn't remember. Silly, when you were 7 years old, you once saved a little beggar. Ethan took me to recall my childhood memories. If it weren't for your half-piece of steamed bun, I might have starved to death. I seemed a bit incredulous, I covered my mouth, and tears welled up in my eyes. You are that little beggar? Yes, it was me. We parted in a hurry back then, and I only remembered the plum blossom mark on your right arm. At the hotel, I recognized you. Ella, I've been looking for you for 15 whole years. I instantly broke down, and tears flew randomly into the air.